Hey guys, welcome to this week's lesson segment on Weekly Outdoor Plus. Jase, Hintz here with you. I'm going to go over, basically it's that time of year where a lot of people are going to be shooting outdoor 3Ds, and you might have already shot some, and I'm just going to basically go over what you should have to be prepared for any kind of weather, any kind of situations you're going to come across in the outdoor 3D ranges, and how to get the best shots, the most comfortable shots that you can possibly get in every setting. The biggest thing in my opinion is going to be an umbrella, just a nice little golf umbrella, really small little umbrella that you can have hanging in your quiver. Nothing too heavy obviously, and you don't need a monster one because it's hard to carry then. The big key with those are for mostly sun actually, so that you can have someone hold it over your string if it's glaring, over your sight if it's glaring, over your level if it's glaring, or again wind, they can block your bow arm from the wind if you got a strong side wind so that it doesn't help you move as much. Another thing that's going to be very big if you're shooting in like long tournaments, if it's a shotgun start, so everyone's starting at the same time, or it's going to be the big broadhead shooting Acetas coming up here. If you're going to be shooting that, there's a lot of people on the range. Really nice to have a folding chair. A lot of people have like the nice little tiny ones for in your blinds. Those are really nice, convenient, where you can sit down. They have arrow tube strapped to them. A lot more convenient than standing there leaning against a tree all day and holding your bow and everything. Another great thing for outdoors is if you have a bow pod for your bow, so you're not sitting there holding on your bow the whole time. Sometimes there's not always hangers out there for you, so very convenient to give your muscles a rest and just relax and take your mind off of it. Another great thing that a lot of people end up changing when they shoot outdoors especially is your shoes. Make sure you have, like we always start every single time, every year we've been starting with the nice solid steady base. Don't be walking out there in flip-flops because again, there's going to be sticks and stuff. You're going to get dirty feet, which bother a lot of people. They're going to be different hills and stuff. I recommend something that's going to still be flat but have a harder toe on them, because a lot of the places you're shooting is going to have a lot of different ground where it's going to be different heights and everything, or it might just be dirt. You might be shooting on the woods floor. The best thing with that is if you have something that has a sturdy toe on it, you can kick it so you get a nice flat feet, because again, you don't want to be standing on a branch. You don't want to be standing on even ground. If you're shooting a big tournament, most of the people are already going to have their feet spots for you because they're going to be doing that. But on a lot of local ones, nobody does it, and it's something that'll help you hold a lot steadier because you won't be swaying back and forth, especially when it's windy out. Those little tiny things are going to help you out big time. Make sure you have a decent set of binoculars, because pretty much everywhere uses binoculars now. Definitely will help you out in the long run. And then big thing too, when you're shooting at targets and aiming. Aiming's really different when you're shooting outdoors, because indoors you have pretty much even lighting and everything. Outdoors it's really nice because you can go off of different glares on the target. You can go off of different shadows. You do use your binoculars obviously, but don't just look at it, say there's the 12 ring, put them down and shoot. Look at them once, take it down, say okay, here's the shadow, I got to go an inch off of it, and then okay, if I come up from the branch that's directly behind it, I could come straight down from that to get my left and right's perfect. There's a lot of different techniques. Make sure you look at the whole target. Don't just look at the 12 ring or the 10 ring or whatever you're shooting at. So one thing a lot of people don't think about on the 3D course especially is pulling your arrows out. That's a really big key in all archery, but in 3D it gets a lot harder, especially when you have different animals that are outside where they're going to get rained, they're going to get weathered a little bit. Sometimes your arrows are going to be extremely hard to pull out of them. You exert a lot of strength and a lot of your actual stamina by trying to pull your arrows out if you can't, and it's a lot harder. There's two things that really you can do, in my opinion, that are extremely easy. One is there's a lot of different loops for your arrow. One I use is scorpion venom. It's basically just going to be some sort of like nail polish type looking thing, or just a squeeze bottle like the glue bottles, and you're just going to put it on the tip of your arrow. You don't have to put a lot on there, and only put it on the tip, because when you shoot obviously it'll spread onto the arrow going into the target. That right there alone is going to help you pull them out like butter. It's going to be so much more simple. Another thing is having some sort of grip to pull them out with. There's a lot of different styles. There's the tube ones, there's the different circular ones that have different size shaft even that you can grab with them. A lot of people just even use like the jar openers that you have at home. Those are another simple thing to use, but it's just something to get a better grip on it. And then a lot of people ruin their arrows when pulling them out of the target by grabbing them too far back and bending them, or again by when you pulling them down because you're using way too much strength and too much force. So make sure when you grab them you have your hand flush against the target, no one's behind you, because you're going to have to use more force. And again, arrow lube will help you pull it out, or having some sort of grip that you can do. And then don't try to pull straight out if it's not working. Twist it a little bit and pull straight back, and it'll come out a lot easier. So those two things is something I highly recommend, having at least one of them in your quiver. I at all times have an arrow puller in my quiver, and 90% of the time have scorpion venom just in case. And then you just put it a little bit on the tip. Really simple to pull out. It'll get on your arrow a little bit. Just obviously don't be grabbing it and stuff in between your shooting, because your hands are going to get slippery. But great two accessories to have. Definitely recommend putting them in your quiver as well. Go over those little tiny things. Make sure you're prepared. Bug spray is also one thing that a lot of people love, because obviously it stinks having bugs all over you, biting you and everything. Don't put it on your hands because you'll wear the color right off your bow. You'll take the camo right off of the handle, so make sure you don't get it on your hands either. But definitely make sure you have a quiver ready to go with everything you need, and also chair if possible. And then again, when you're aiming at your target, look at different things. Don't just look at the target. There's everything surrounded with different things. You know, you can look at trees behind it, branches coming out, shadows on the target. Check everything out, know your full surroundings, be prepared, be ready, shoot your best, all right? Hopefully you guys have a lot of luck out there. Maybe I'll see you out there. Otherwise, as always, have a good week.